Hi papillons, welcome back to my channel. This is Fat Cat. In this channel, which is quite new, fairly new, I will be speaking on the topics of spirituality, self-development, astrology, and as well as sound healing, which I do. I am a practicing sound healer. I have been practicing for 3 years, and I will also be having a segment for music production where I explore and experiment with music softwares. So stay tuned for that. So, today's topic, what is the topic for today? What can we learn today in the field of astrology? I have decided to speak about moon in Aquarius. So, let us first go into what is the moon. What does the moon in astrology mean? Like, what does it mean to have your moon in Aquarius or moon in Taurus or moon in Gemini? What does it mean, right? So basically, the moon sign in your zodiac, in your chart, natal chart, sorry, refers to your deeper emotions, the way you are in private, the way you are with your partners or with your intimate family and friends. And the moon relates to more of your the private side of you, the emotional side of you, the side of you that is more that is it is kind of like the opposite to the sun, because the sun sign is all about how you project yourself into the world, how you get by, and how what you're known for example, how you are known to be, whereas the moon sign is what you actually are like, especially when there's nobody around or when you are very comfortable to be yourself, right? So what does it mean to have your moon in Aquarius? Okay, let's get into that. So Aquarius is ruled by two planets. The zodiac sign of Aquarius, or the water bearer, is ruled by two planets. Okay, and these two planets are Saturn and Uranus. Now, to have Saturn and Uranus rule the same, to rule the same sign is in itself kind of strange. So we can understand where this whole weirdness of Aquarius stems from, because Saturn is the ruler of time, and it causes limitations, it causes karma to occur, whereas Uranus is a change maker. So whereas Saturn is all about rules and limitations and bureaucracy, Uranus is all about radical shift, transformations, unexpected and sudden changes, right? So to actually have these two planets rule the sign means that the person with that sign is already functioning from a certain internal contradiction, internal duality. So this is what is happening first and foremost with a moon in Aquarius, right? So for a moon in Aquarius, they are first and foremost very weird, very strange, very quirky. And moreover, not only are they weird, quirky, strange, they love it. Okay, they love being strange, they love being quirky, they love being authentic, they love being original, and they love showing that to the world as well. It's almost like a flex that they do, whereas a lot of people in society are trying to cover up how weird they are, or cover up those things that they feel is flawed or strange, or like, but what a moon in Aquarius is going to do is kind of flaunt their flaws. They're going to flaunt their originality, they're going to flaunt their unique, zesty little, their unique flavor to the world, because they're like, hey world, look at me, I am so different from you. So they love the fact that they are different from others, they love defining that, they love showing it off, and they love being surrounded by other people who are different from them. So a moon in Aquarius loves new things, fresh things, original things. They will always be surrounded by people from different walks of life. They may have a friend who's like a hippie, like a stoner, or somebody who does a lot of drugs, but on the other hand, they may have a friend who works for the UN, and then they may have another friend who's a fisherman. Like, they love mixing it up when it comes to their friendships, because for them, the more variety and difference and uniqueness and novelty that surrounds them, the better. And they love inculcating that within themselves as well as in their daily life. So even though they are ruled by Saturn, which means there is a fixed quality to them, and there is a certain rigidity that they definitely also exhibit at times, but they love doing things in their own way. They love living each day in a different way, in a unique way. Routines usually bore them. Okay, so what else about a moon in Aquarius? Okay, so as I said, the first thing is that they love being weird. They are weird. They own it. They're very cool with it, and they surround themselves with likewise with a community of weird people. Especially if they can find people who are as weird as them, as quirky as them, then they feel like they've hit the jackpot. Okay. Now, second thing is that something very important to understand about the moon in Aquarius, which a lot of people may not understand. And that's why I'm here, because I like to bring in the psychology of it so that we understand the people around us better and we get along better with other people in the world, right? So something people do not understand about moon in Aquarius is that they crave to be understood, but they don't crave for most people in this world. They crave for warmth, right? They just care that there's another human body next to them. They have somebody to go to bed with, they have somebody to sleep next to wake up next to, somebody who will cook for them, somebody to complain to about. Of course everybody wants that. As humans we are social creatures, okay? But for a moon in Aquarius, it's not those usual things that they are looking for in a relationship. It is not those usual things that actually do it for them. What does it for them is if you can understand them on the intellectual plane, if you can understand them on the mental plane, and if you can get with their ideas, not only get with their ideas but debate their ideas, bounce off their ideas, come up with your own ideas that may add on to their ideas. They're all about innovation, they are all about the future, and they are an extremely humanitarian sign. They're all about the bigger picture, as in the community. So if you have a lot of, if you are also a radical thinker, if you are looking to shift the world, shift the paradigm, change the consciousness on this planet, then it is for sure that you will vibe with an Aquarius moon, and that an Aquarius moon will instantly become your friend, may become your confidant, may become your lover. So this is very important for an Aquarius moon, that they are understood on the intellectual level, that their ideas are digested by others, because an Aquarius moon lives in the future. So again, a defining quality is that this sign does not live in the present. It is not practical. It is a level headed sign in some ways. That's the weirdest combination. So they are, Aquarius moon can be very level headed, and at the same time they're very kooky, they're very inventive, and they're also very strange. They're also at the same time out of this world. So that is because their focus is completely in the future. They live in the future, and they act as if the future is already existing around them. Okay, so it's like living by example, which again gets misunderstood by a lot of people that surround them, because people think they can be misunderstood for being snobbish, for being cold, for being unfeeling, and so on. And that is because an Aquarius moon is very dedicated to their own projects of the future. They are dedicated to helping humanity at large, for bringing justice into the world, for bringing about a sense of equality, for bringing about a very peaceful and free society. They are a very idealistic sign, so they're always looking ahead, and they live in the future. And in fact, they want you to catch up. They want you to get on the same page, where things are very experimental, things are very innovative. And even if they are being vague about it, if you can add, if you can kind of solidify those, that their vagueness, if you can kind of complete the picture for them, then you've definitely hit the jackpot, and they've definitely hit a jackpot in you, because then you can really complement each other and build upon those ideas. So it's all about the mental plane, the intellectual plane for them. Even when it comes to love and relationships, they vibe most with people who can accept and appreciate their ideas and their thought process, the way they think, and who are not overly emotional or overly attached, right? So that brings me to the third trait or characteristic of an Aquarius moon, is that they do not like to really look at their emotions. They don't like to dwell in the emotional realm. Okay, so it is obviously, Aquarius is an air sign, so they're again about the mental plane. And what they do is, often if they are faced with emotions, a lot of emotions, they may suddenly freeze. They may freeze up, they may actually completely cut off from the emotions, even And this is a shadow side of an Aquarius moon, is that sometimes they're not willing to look at where the problems lie. They're not able to look at even their own emotions and be honest about it, because they're being very stubborn about how things are and how things should be, and their own idealism gets in the way of them understanding what is going on emotionally with somebody else. So it can be sometimes hard. You may reach a bottleneck with an moon in Aquarius, because first also it's a fixed sign, and this is where they display their rigidity and their coldness, and they will just detach from you when the emotions are too overwhelming and they're not able to make sense of it, or when that emotionality is kind of coming in the way of their important task for the future, when it's coming in the way of their own unique way of going about life and existence. That's when they will just cut you off, because they feel there is no choice but to cut off this sort of interruption. To them, emotions are like, normally we look at ocean waves, and we love the ocean waves. We love the ocean because it reminds us of who we are, and we feel connected to our emotions when we look at an ocean's waves, right? But for an Aquarius, the ocean waves are almost like an interruption in their perfectly synchronized, unique worldview that they have built, painstakingly built for themselves over many years, of feeling alone, of feeling lonely, of having walked the path in a different way, of feeling like an outsider. So for them, it's very careful to maintain that unique worldview that they have developed, and that they know that a lot of people do not understand, which is why they protect it. So when there are these waves of emotions that they can't make sense of, or that are so-called interrupting their normal android like functioning, and by android I do not mean robotic, I do not mean routine, I just mean it's a very unique, distinct way that they function. It's very specific to them. That's what I mean by android. So when that happens, then they kind of shut down. It's like the system shuts down, and either they kind of ghost you, or they don't want to talk to you for a long time until they figured it out, or they cut you off. And this especially happens with people, again, with romantic partners who they feel have wasted their time, because they are like, hey, I am doing important business here. I am in the business of shifting the paradigm of earth. I am here to make big changes, and now you're coming here with your petty emotions and just wasting my time. So for them, they can be very brutally honest. This is another trait of moon in Aquarius. They can be very brutally honest, to the point where they hurt people without realizing. They may hurt their family, their friends. They may sometimes be very cutting with the kind of words they use, because again, many times what happens is they are very busy in their own world, and very busy trying to make these changes in this idealistic life that they live, this bubble world that they live, and they don't even realize when they are saying something mean to you. They're just being themselves. So if an Aquarius does that, moon in Aquarius does that to you, you can also forgive them, or try to tell them that that's what's happening, because the chances are that they don't even realize that they are doing it. Okay, that is another thing about the moon in Aquarius. Now, what else about moon in Aquarius? Moon in Aquarius is a rebel, is a born rebel. Okay, moon in Aquarius is an innovator, is futuristic, is like the maverick, the genius of the zodiac. They have to do something different, and they will do something different. And their life purpose is to kind of go against the tides and not go with the flow. So in that sense, that's why they feel very lonely sometimes and isolated in their life. They feel like nobody is on their side. It's very important for them to connect with like-minded people who are equally strange, because if they don't, then they will definitely have a sort of harboring resentment towards society and towards other so-called normies, because they look at other people, the normies, as with a certain level of disdain and resentment, that you guys are okay with society the way it is. They can clearly see that the society is functioning in a very obsolete manner. Like the way the society is functioning looks ridiculous to them, and that is why they are so eager to make those changes happen. So how do these moons in Aquarius often make those changes? Let's get into that. Okay, often moons in Aquarius are focused on the politics, on how what can be done on the political scale. They may not even do something, they may not get into politics personally, but they often are interested in world politics. They're interested in what is happening with the world leaders, who has got elected, and they will debate you on why this person got elected, that this person shouldn't have got elected, right? they will always look at what is going on with the policies, especially environmental policies. A lot of them are pro environment, pro animals, pro nature. They will do a lot of things to make the society equal for all. So they will try to remove the injustice towards animals. Many of them could be vegans, many of them could be, into, like I said already, sustainability, policy making, changing the environmental policies, anything related to this stuff. They are very passionate about it. And again, they are not passionate in the way like a Cancer or a Pisces would be, who would hold your hand and hug you and transfer that bodily warmth and give you that space for understanding. Rather, the way they show compassion is a lot more intellectual and a lot more subtle and a lot more universal. So it's about making these changes to the world and how we live. Even the things that they practice in their daily life, they may do things that are perceived as weird, but they feel that it is beneficial for humanity at large, and that all of it adds up in the long run. Okay, so that is another thing about moon in Aquarius. Okay, so a lot of them could be there are also a lot of them could be into changing the education policies. They want to change the way what the subjects that are being taught in schools and universities, and the scope of those subjects are also debated by them, and they would like to even change that, because all of this eventually adds up to a shift in consciousness, which is what they are set on. So in that way, the shadow side of it again would be that they can be very blinkered. They can become very they can get tunnel vision when it comes to these dreams of theirs, these vision of theirs, and then they kind of get lost in their own world. And sometimes they just don't even acknowledge what is right in front of them. They will refuse to acknowledge the most obvious things, because they are so busy in the world of their own making. Okay, now this is already becoming quite a long video, so I'm going to start wrapping it up. Let me look at what is one of the last things I can tell you about a moon in Aquarius, right? So as I said, I think I'm just going to kind of wrap it up. So moon in Aquarius, if you want to be friends with the moon in Aquarius, if you're attracted to a moon in Aquarius, my go-to solution would be that
Firstly, be very open to their ideas, be very open to their thoughts, appreciate that, but at the same time also don't just agree with everything they say. Have your own point of view. They appreciate different points of view. They appreciate you being weird and unique and having your very own perspective. So have conversations relating to those thoughts and ideas. You can also suggest action steps towards what can be done that really turns them on. So for a moon in Aquarius, it's not about being naked together in bed. It's not about finding a boyfriend. It's not about having the perfect career that gets them fame. Not at all. It's just about, I have this task I need to do because it's going to bug me otherwise, and I want to make these changes for the world, and I do not have time to do a lot of other things. And I just want to be with somebody who can understand me, who does not create drama, who is not overly attached, and who is intelligent. That is what a moon in Aquarius is looking for in a partner. They also need a lot of freedom, so make sure you give them a lot of freedom, a lot of space, because for sure if you do, they will come back to you, because like any other human being, even if they are perceived as cold and detached, obviously they have emotions. Deep down they do very much do have emotions, and they will definitely come back to you when you give them space. And they are very sympathetic, compassionate people, very tolerant people, love a just society, a fair world, and also an interesting and colorful world. So you can always rely on the moon in Aquarius to make life interesting, to stir the pot, to also give you your daily dose of conspiracy theories, talk about aliens or talk about light language, which is obviously is now becoming mainstream. So now anything that becomes mainstream, a moon in Aquarius will kind of reject it. Of course, if they have other placements, they won't. It depends on their placements. So that was it. That is the video for moon in Aquarius. I have a lot more to talk about this, but I think it is enough for today. And like I said, moon is all about your emotional side, your private life, how you are when nobody is looking. Okay. And I will be obviously getting into other placements, other signs. I just love astrology, so look forward to more creating more content on the same. And have a lovely blessed day, papillons. Bye.